pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kindly call the roll, please.
Don Studman.
Here.
Lisa Note.
Here.
Ally Artigas.
Present.
Don Manette.
Here.
Debbie Terrian.
Is absent. And I'm looking for approval of the December 9th, 2013 board meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve December 9th.
I have a motion and support. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Does the board have anything to add to the agenda? No perfection of the agenda. You have the reports that you've already received. And the agenda item, treasurer's not here, but she is looking at some cooperative training regarding BSNA for the pervasive tax program we have. It's tax and assessing repos in that database. She's wanting to go with Cedar Creek Township treasurer, deputy treasurer herself, and her deputy. So that isn't going. Actually, she checked into going, but what she's looking at is having them come out here. The on-site training is $750 a day, plus travel expenses of $65, $815, so each township would pay $407.50. She, Debbie does have $600 in her budget for education. So it really isn't a matter of needing to get approval that way. Mostly she wants to get support in the fact that this is a cooperative effort for joining with Cedar Creek and with them, with our township. Cedar Creek still has pervasive also, the database pervasive. The classes that they offer for pervasive aren't as often because they went to .net. At the same time, she's also looking into information on going to .net, but that would go through the budget. So mostly, it's just showing support with our, I'm looking for a motion of support for document 1314-05 regarding the option of on-site training and shared expenses with Cedar Creek Township.
I'll move.
Is there support? Don or Lyle? Sure. Lyle? Roll call, please.
Lisa.
Yes.
Lyle.
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Melanie.
Aye. Motion carried. The next one is the January meeting dates, staying with the second Monday of the month, 7 p.m., same time through the year, and also the legal holidays that will be this year. We have to adopt this at our January meeting if we support it. So I'm looking for support of the 2014 meeting schedule, document 011314-04.
I'll support.
Are you support or making a motion?
You didn't make this motion?
No.
Okay, then I'll make the motion that we
I'll support.
follow the document 011314-04.
And Lisa supporting? Roll call, please.
Lyle.
Yes.
Lisa.
Yes.
Melanie.
Aye.
Don.
Yes.
Motion carried. We also have a budget amendment in our building and grounds equipment maintenance. We had a few things. One was, unfortunately, we started out with our smoke detectors going bad. We had a problem with a smoke detector and a wire, so it kept sending off alarms. I believe the false alarms are noted in our, in the fire report, which was the alarms from the township. They weren't false, they were what?
They were alarms.
They were alarms, yeah, but when we come here and it ended up, we got Novotny here, so we had the original smoke detectors up here, which they recommend 10 years, and they were up here a lot longer than that, so those got changed out. We had the siren, yearly maintenance on that. And we had the generator, which was the biggest expense. The generator went down. Debbie was here the day, and then it didn't, switch from the electric to the generator. It switched off the power coming in, and the generator stayed off for 15 minutes. Bob had to come in and override it, so they came in to check to see if it was a transfer switch. It happened to be more than that. It happened to be the panel. Unfortunately, it's past the warranty time, which was the first thing I asked. So, having a generator that doesn't work isn't very beneficial. That in itself was roughly, almost $1,200. So I'm looking for a budget amendment in that line item to cover those. The amount of the change would be $2,000. So it would bring the amount up to $3,200 for that, that account. And that would be approval of that, I'm looking for the approval of the budget amendment, document 011314-07.
Is there a warranty on the work that was done on the generator now?
On the panel that was put in, I did not ask him, I didn't ask about the panel put in, and I'm not sure, Bob had, but I'm not sure he thought to ask that either.
I wasn't here when the
Yeah.
tech came to put
Right.
it in.
So, but that's something we should
A phone
follow
call.
up on, to
Phone call
follow
would know that.
up on, find out if there's a warranty.
Okay.
But it is working, it was working correctly
Yes.
after that, so.
I will make the motion to accept document 011314-07 for an amendment of $2,000 to the Building and Grounds Equipment and Maintenance Department.
I'll support.
Okay, I'm asking, are you, for clarification, are you talking about the change amount, because the
The
amendment?
change amount for $2,000, yes.
Because do you accept the change of that it's the change amount? We have a motion by Lisa, will I support in the change amount of $2,000, roll call please.
Lisa,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Melanie.
Motion carried. The next agenda item is fire chief, can you kindly step up? The first thing on that is the duty shift program.
Yes, all of you have a copy of that, I'll give it to you a while back. What I'm asking for is a vote of support to proceed with this program. What that means is that you're giving us the okay, or you're giving actually yourselves the okay to send this policy SOG that I wrote for it to the attorney for his review, and then it would come back for your review, and then you would be voting, I would ask for a vote on implementing the program, hopefully in February. It's only one policy, SOG is just a couple pages, so it shouldn't take a month and a month.
So what you're requesting is that this is, the board approves sending this document to the attorney for review and back to.
Mhm.
Does the board have any questions on this one in particular? Before we-
Have you discussed the minimum wage part of this? Like the search and rescue a whole day with?
Search and rescue was chosen to be volunteer, because when we have a search and rescue, we also request the aid of our searchers from CERT, and they don't get paid anything. So we are getting a very minimum wage of $2.40.
So the minimum wage law doesn't apply to that at that point?
Correct.
Because it's a volunteer activity.
And that's where we would have the attorney follow up on it. That would be part of what, we definitely want the attorney to review it.
I was just thinking of Dorman Hellbauer that time when he offered his pay
Right.
and then
Right, you
3
couldn't
months
refuse
later
it,
came
right,
back and
right. So otherwise I'm seeking a motion for, to send this document 011314-01 to the attorney for review. We have a motion by Don.
I'll support.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. The next one is the application packet code of ethics.
Okay, and I'm asking the board's approval to include that page as part of the application packet. Now, there was a little bit of a problem with that, Melanie?
Yes, I don't know if everybody had a chance to review it, it's the third page from the back. In just reading this, my question was, most of the way down the both items, fourth one up, where it says, and I asked Larry this, it says, never engage in activities involving alcohol or other substance use or abuse that can impair my mental state or the performance of my duties and compromise safety. My question to Larry was, in regards to if someone has a drink, they know they can't respond, right? If they have a beer, or whatever, they're having a
That's
cookout, they
correct.
can't respond, that's in, as Larry said, in the SOGs.
That's in our new, the middle section of the SOGs, which is in the hands of you people, right?
Yeah, we got that, we just got that back. So that's something for February. But this is, the fact that it says never engage was my question, because that in my reading was, then they can never, ever have that beer at a picnic, and I thought that
Correct.
was not the correct way to go, so.
And you're right, it is not, and if you read on though, it says to never engage in activities involving alcohol or other substances, other substance use or abuse that can impair my mental status. So in other words, a beer is not going to, basically, I didn't want to use the word getting drunk
Mhm.
in there, so I felt that was a better way of saying it. We don't want people to go out and, hopefully there's no substance abuse, period, but we don't want them drinking to the point where they're intoxicated. That's the intent there. So to never drink,
Mhm.
no, it doesn't end right there, it continues on,
Okay,
okay?
I'm gonna ask how the rest of the board members read it, because that was, and that's why I said, I called you, because I said, the question was, how do you read it?
We ask the attorney to define that, because we're gonna run into all kinds of things there.
You mean just the sheet?
Just that.
Well, I guess I would, I'm glad you pointed that out too, because everybody's tolerance for alcohol are a little bit different. I mean, I get one beer and I'm silly. You know, when a large guy that's in good shape, it's not gonna faze him at all, so if I'm
Right.
applying,
So I guess the wording is, the verbiage still is
it's
questionable.
concerning, right?
If it's your decision to send this to the attorney if it means anything, like it says down at the bottom there, adapted from the National Society of Executive Fire Officers.
Right.
So this isn't some,
Mhm.
something we made up or anything.
Right,
But then
This
on
is
the other
something that's been
hand,
around.
I'm looking at it, reading if this is my job application, I'm going to assume that if I'm planning on going on any type of a call,
yeah,
that, so I guess I'm saying I can read it both ways.
right, because you can't, drink and respond. Understood that, so.
I have no problem if we adopt our own code of ethics. In other words, if you send this to the attorney changes it,
Okay.
I have no problem with that.
Okay.
So do I hear a motion for document 011314-02 to send to the attorney for review of the firefighter code of ethics?
I will make a motion to send document 011314-202 to the lawyer for approval.
Is there support for that motion?
Awesome.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. That will go to the attorney just then. The third one is the extraction tool,
Extrication too.
extrication.
Yes. And like it says on the second page,
Yeah. Yeah.
in boldface print there, I'm asking for approval to purchase the Genesis tool from Rescue Resources. Everything's explained in here, it talks about the quotes, you got apples to quotes, and you got apples to oranges quotes. Put the apples to oranges first to show why we wanted the Genesis, and then went out and got 3 bids on the Genesis tool. So you have all those bids there, and again, the money has been budgeted for it. And because we're going in with Fulton on this, because we're joint purchasing, in other words, they're buying a tool, we're buying a tool, we get a discount of $1,518 on our tool if we purchase it by, well, I'm gonna order, I have to order it tomorrow if we want that discount, because that was the deal. We're already beyond the date that the quote was good for, but he extended it until after the board meeting, because I told him there's no way we could act on it by the end of December.
Okay,
And I did not have this ready for the board meeting in December, because they only had 2 hours notice on it, so there's no way I could put that together.
and there is, you're correct, that money was budgeted. And I think I'll let Ms. ask you a question.
No, I was just, you were talking about apples to apples and oranges to oranges. We already own an extrication tool. correct?
Yes, we do. And our tool, as I mentioned in here, is not capable of cutting the new, the hardened metals that the newer cars are made of. We can't do it. We
Okay,
can't cut with it. It'll snap our blades, it'll dull the pump. Okay, pump's not strong enough either. So that's the reason for a new tool. Yet we're not getting rid of ours, it's gonna go on 1472. And this way, down at the south end, I'll have an extrication tool. Even though it may not, even though it won't work on the newer cars, but hopefully they get started with something.
okay,
They
thank you.
have to do an extrication, or if it's an older car, they can do the extrication deal too.
And when did, just out of curiosity, like what year of cars is this kind of starting with this?
Best I could find was the, I mentioned that in here.
2000.
Yeah, newer vehicles are those going back to 2009 models.
Thank you.
And I believe it even goes back a little more on some of the more expensive vehicles.
Okay. Thank you, Larry.
And I noticed too that the original price you got, which of course was for when you were doing the budget, was the same price. They stuck with the same price, a year, at the end of the year from the beginning of the year.
And in January, that price went up, but like I say, I asked them to hold it till after the board meeting, because there's no way we could act on it up until today, or tomorrow.
You got any? Don, do you have any questions?
No,
Okay.
I'm okay.
Okay, I'm seeking a motion for approval of document 011314-03, the purchase of the Genesis tool from Rescue Resources in the amount of $29,166. Do I hear a motion? I have a motion from Don, is there support?
I'll support.
Okay, which, I had two support, Lyle, okay, whichever supported. Roll call?
Don,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Melanie.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you, Larry. Accounts payable.
The electronic federal tax payment for the fourth quarter, which ends December 2013. We have a total payment of $2,326.39, and I make a motion that we pay that.
Do I have support for the motion?
I support.
Roll call, please.
Lyle,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Melanie,
Aye.
Don.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
For the December 2013 expenses, general fund, $12,755.70. Fire operating fund, $8,475.97. Streetlight fund, $719.43. PTAF fund, $1,130.10. Fire equipment fund, $671.16, for a total of $23,752.36. And I move that we pay that bill.
I have a motion, do I hear support? Second by Don. Roll call, please.
Lyle,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Melanie,
Aye.
Lisa,
Yes.
Motion is carried. We're to the public comment. Does the board member want to make a comment before? We go to the public comment period. All right, Gail?
Bill Wiesner, 1318 Eastway Lake Drive. I have a problem that wasn't solved last year, and I want to get it solved this year. I'm paying over $240 a year for streetlights that are of no value, and as far as I can tell, they should not be in my property. I should not be in the zone. Whoever set that zone up did an extremely poor job, because you can't understand what they're doing or what they did. They need to get the people together and get this thing straightened out. I pay over $240 for streetlights that have no value, and I pay less than $90 for Blue Lake Township to run. Now, something seems to be wrong, and I'd like to get it corrected this year. Thank you. And it's good to see you all back safe.
Thank you, Dale. Any other public comments?
Jim Schlichting, 10360 Blue Lake Road. Over the past few years, this nation under a Democratic Party leadership has been telling us we're in for a healthcare system that would cost us less and allow us to keep the plans and the doctors that we had selected for ourselves. No dramatic changes for those who were satisfied with their health care. The fact is, we were sold a bill of goods. And by the politicians concerning this healthcare, in reality, the new healthcare system is becoming a redistribution of wealth and contains sweeping changes that we, the taxpayer, were denied information about. Likewise, you, the Blue Lake Township Board majority, elected to office as proud Democrats, appear to have sold the citizens of this community another bill of goods. Redistribution of wealth and changes within the fire department were being considered while we were being asked to support a renewal of what was in place. It was important for you to get our tax dollars committed without us being told that sweeping changes were in store for us in the operation of the fire department. Before the November election, this township board presented the millage as a renewal. Same rates, same purpose. Not a public mention of any consideration to changes of the operation of the fire department. That was the beginning of an intended scam on us, the taxpayers, wasn't it? That was the important first step to get the public to step up with $1.15 million, while you and your selected head of the fire department kept silent about changes to come. If your response is going to be that the head of the fire department withheld from you any information about the proposed fundamental changes to fire department operations until after the successful millage vote, shame on him as well as you. The obvious question to you and the head of your fire department is, why was it important to get the millage election passed before indicating there were going to be fundamental changes? We see poorly managed national government operations under elected Democratic Party leadership that allows department heads to remain in place after inept management, supporting dramatic changes that have not been examined, presented to the public, or investigated for legality, much less presented with a lack of financial integrity, is a demonstration of management ineptness at this most local government level. Taxpayers have had enough deception about the true use of their $1 million plus. Deception about how the use of the new millage will become is a scam. According to information published by the Michigan Association of Fire Chiefs, it takes one command plus 14 additional firefighters for a fire service to meet its mission, goals, and objectives. I suggest that there is one task and one task only that should be the #1 priority for Blue Lake Township Fire Department. That task being to have a firefighter roster that is large enough to supply to the residents of this township the service that can meet what should be the mission, goal, and objectives of Blue Lake Township Fire. Again, shame on you. You asked for the millage, now the changes start to be revealed.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Larry Radke, Fire Chief, Blue Lake Township Fire Department. We got just want to make the board aware and public aware of two things. I can do within 3 minutes. First of all, we were awarded for the second time in 3 years a DNR grant. The DNR grant is for, if you remember back, a while back, all our radios were obsolete at one time. Our portables are now up to date. Station 2's base radio is up to date. Okay, this grant will go toward replacing the remaining Station 1 base radio and the mobile radios, which are, most of which are 2 generations behind in terms of technology. So that's what the grant is gonna go for. I'd like to thank the grant committee, headed by Chaplain Highcraft, for the work that was done in securing that grant. The other thing is, I gave you a copy of the annual report, and I have extra copies run off, just like I do extra copies of the monthly report on the table over there for the public. And it's a pretty interesting report, I thought. This is the first time it was done, and this will be done every year, and things will be added to it. As we go on, we've already talked about informing you on the annual report of the vehicle maintenance that goes on in 3 different areas: required, emergency, and prevent. Okay, so you'll get as complete a picture at that time as we have. We might even expand that later. This is something that's going to evolve over time because it's the first time it was done. So,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Oh, we got.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Mine will be quick.
All right.
Ken Mahoney, Muskegon County Commissioner, just wanted to welcome everybody and hope that everyone can show up for the jail groundbreaking tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the parking lot. It's finally happening. It's been a long time, but it's moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fred Arbogast, 11645 Pond Road. And I'm back. To the Blue Lake Township board members, concerning finances, you have received a set of documents that were called a financial report. Previously, I have asked if you could use that report to conduct the people's business. After reading the report, I find it is not worthy of the paper it was printed on, much less useful for its intended purpose. The set is incomplete. There are areas that contain errors. You have made numerous budget amendments since the beginning of this fiscal year without a good scorecard of what has actually happened. One example is the fire department payroll expense line. Expenses are shown, but no budget amount is displayed. Another example, the fire equipment fund balance sheet, out of balance by $32,084. The fire operating fund balance sheet, out of balance by $29,033. Both of these out of balances are in the same direction, totaling over $61,000. To the duty shift program that's being proposed, has anyone projected what the dollar cost could be? 2 days per week, 2 people at 8 hours per day, at $7.50 per hour, 52 weeks per year, an additional $13,700 payroll expense. And as far as the code of ethics, will this code be required of all personnel or just new hires? And who will enforce the code, determine judgment, set punishment levels? Please be respectful of your obligation to the residents that you serve.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Vicki Longnecker. I'd like to say that I am shocked that you guys believe the firefighters are being overpaid. Therefore, they deserve a wage reduction. How do you think we're going to be able to get over 11 firefighters so we can have a full staff when we don't think they get paid? Or when we think that they are overpaid at $10.50 an hour? To save our lives and to save our property, I think that's wrong.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Walt Dudell, property owner, 7040 Orange. Fred just mentioned here a few minutes ago about a scorecard. It's been months since this board's been brought into play, and yet we still seem to be running into the same issues consistently. Does this board know where they're going? Do they know what they're doing? Outside of spending money. And not even being able to tally what you're spent, or what's left. That's just one area. How about enforcement? Equal enforcement. We've talked, and Melanie has been brought aware of this. We've got board members that's in violation of an ordinance. Is anything gonna happen with it, or is it okay because it's a board member? It's been consistent, ongoing, in such a hush situation. What happened to being open and honest? Every person in here pays taxes, and open and honest, they come in here and pay their taxes. Just for it to get belittled by the board that's gonna do absolutely nothing but spend it. When you start moving forward, this constantly spending money and going nowhere has to come to an end. It's getting too costly. I can't afford it.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, meeting's adjourned at 7:32 PM.
I'll make you a best. When the minutes are typed up and put on the website, there isn't half of the mention of what? When they type the minutes up and put them on the website, there won't be half of what was said. No, except I gave her a copy of the